All right, Working Class Beer Reviews is looking at Founder's Mortal Bloom Imperial Thorn Imperial IPA. It's a 19.2 ounce can that I got from Walmart for like $2.90 something, which isn't too bad for a craft beer single. Using my tulip glass, one of the two that I've got that I tend to use with these IPAs. This is 8% ABV. Church key the can. I know I've dropped the ball on that in the past. I don't want to do that. And I'm going to pour it aggressively. Let that set up. Yeah, I looked on the website, and it does. Let me get this one so I can view. I'm trying to show. I'm not trying to show off, but it's like I used to have a pool. Pool became too much maintenance because it was a saltwater pool. It kept rusting out the legs, and the pump was just kept throwing the low salt codes. If anybody had a salt pool at any point, they probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. And it's just gonna try to get this thing up for sale. And if you can see, we kind of turned this into a little sitting area with a conversation area, like a fire pit and all that. So I think it looks nice. We were able to talk to someone locally that got us some gravel, and I took a week's vacation to work on the back of this. So I'm pretty proud of it. It looks really nice. My wife worked really hard to get this going, and thought I'd make a good backdrop. So, and took it to Sutherland's today. They had the early bird special, a lot of 50% off of different type of plants and stuff like that. So, kind of found a few things to kind of dress things up and make it look nice. I think I'm pretty happy with the way, like I said, I'm not trying to do it to brag or to show off or anything like that. But I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. Proud of my wife for what we got working on this. So what do we got here? Founders is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've done some Founders beers before. We get some. As far as singles, not so much. I think I did the All Day IPA. I think I got that from Walmart. Topped this off a little bit. I did go to the website. They have a regular Founders Mortal Bloom. So this is the Imperial. So it's 8%, 45 IBUs. The hops are Mosaic, Simcoe, Amarillo, Azacca. And malts, this is what surprised me. It sounds incomplete. It just says wheat. So it's like all wheat. There's no barley at all. That seems odd. And maybe I don't know. Maybe that's something they went with. It says it has peachy notes. We'll worry about the tasting when I get to it myself. So it comes in 6 12-ounce cans. These 19.2 ounce cans. These are some people refer to as stovepipe because the cylindrical shape is much like an old stovepipe. They do have it on draft, so in some places, I guess in the upper Midwest, you probably see it on draft. I have not seen it on draft. And they have it in variety packs from September to December. We're outside of that, so this is an individual. I'll look at the date here in a second. It's getting low in the sun, so I'm going to try to kind of get to it. I've never had this before, so I'm really curious as if wheat is the only, if I can just detect that, if I can tell by anything. By looking at it. Not much sunlight right now. The sun's going down. I was trying to squeeze this in. It was raining earlier. I would have done this earlier, but still a little bit of sunlight out. But to me, it looks like a normal IPA, especially like one of those DIPAs, the double IPAs, your Imperial IPAs. Dark gold, clear, very clear, but the head, look at that, very strong, pronounced, sticking around head. Ain't going nowhere anytime soon. So I kind of like that. Top that off a little bit, let that raise up to the top. Really cool label. Got a bunch of different like hop cones and flowers. They kind of look like cosmos, but some of them have like mouths and eyes in the inside the center. I used to know all the parts of a flower, and I apologize that I don't have that part right. But some of them are flowers, some are hop cones, some are like tentacles. So very cool, like hand-drawn, looking. It says crack it, pour it, Love it. A little more information on the can, but let's get to the beer while we have daylight. So, yeah, we looked at it. It's clear but dark golden. Good, strong, white to bone-colored head. Nice aroma. It does have a malty smell to it. So 45 IBUs for a double IPA. It's not going to be like hop stupid. It's not just going to be, so this is going to be a malty double IPA. Much like some of the double IPAs you see at the gas stations anymore. So yeah, this is not like Lagunitas. This isn't like hop stupid. This is going to be these 90 IBU bombs, or hop bombs that you smell and taste. This is going to, I think they're going for a much more balanced version of this, although I'm sure we'll get to the taste and see if we can get those hops drawn out. There is some in the aroma, but it has got a maltiness to the aroma. I still have a hard time believing that it's only wheat. If anybody else has had this or has seen any other information, outside the website, let me know if there is other grains in the recipe on this, if there's any malts or anything like that besides wheat, any barley. Yeah, it smells really nice. So let's give it a sip. Taste of hops, not bitterness though. It's odd. So, had I not written down that it said that it has a peachy note, I may not have said that, but now that since it's in my head, that power of suggestions there, I do get a bit of like a stone fruit type note to it. Definitely a strong malt backbone. But the bitterness is there. 45 IBUs, that's no slouch. But that's like a typical normal IPA range. So for a double, you would expect it to be a lot stronger, but maybe it's more about the ABV than it is the bitterness. So the bitterness is there, but it's not going to blow your head off. It's not going to blow you away. It's not going to knock you back. What will knock you back is if you probably have a couple of these right in a row. This is not a session beer. This is not something you're just going to just boot and then go after another one. No, this is something you want to definitely sit and process and enjoy. I like it. I like it. I feel like you know how they say sometimes you need to have a beer a few times to really know if you like it or understand it. I think this is one of those. I may have to have this a few times. Excuse me. I think of the Voodoo Ranger, the Imperial Voodoo Ranger, the 9%. I've had that several times, so I know exactly what to expect, and it's very consistent in the way it's made, and it's very easy to get a hold of. I'm going to sneeze. I'm sorry. Sorry. Dad sneeze. Way too loud for what it should be. But now I'm trying to do this before the light gets down here. Another one. Sorry. And hopefully it should be the last one. This is not due to the beer. But the first time I've ever done on video. This does happen to me sometimes. Typically not while I'm drinking beer though. Hang on. I'm going to step out of frame here. I did have a cleaning cloth that dried all this off, so it was a clean cloth that I did. Would I ever have this again? Yes. The price is reasonable for what it is. I think for craft beers, I think they're doing it right by doing tall singles like this. I mean, it's not as cost effective as buying a 6-pack, but if you decide you don't like it, you don't have to buy a whole 6-pack. So I like that aspect of it. It seems like they're very popular with IPAs, the fruity, juicy, strong IPAs. It would be cool if they did it in like the wintertime for stouts and porters and stuff like that. I would be totally down with that. Um, and regular, just like ales, you know. I'm not, now it probably sound weird because I sound all stuffy like I need Sudafed or something like that. I'm not into the fruit flavored stuff, the gimmicky things. I'm so disappointed in my speaking ability right now. I may grab myself a tall can of like the Twisted Tea and just to do the review, or the Hoop Tea that's out right now. I've been seeing that advertised. You see me do Four Loko, you see me do the Jack Daniel's Down Home Punch. So it's not as if I'm opposed to trying those things. They're just not my preference, personally. This though, once in a while, it's not my like everyday thing. This isn't something this is the calories. Okay, so I told you I'd look in the can before it gets super dark. Brewed and packaged by Founders Brewing Company, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Guess the website, foundersbrewing.com. Puerto Rico. Oh, something, I don't know. Something with the laws. Protect the environment, do not litter, drink responsibly. They don't serve Founders in the clinic? Or clinks, or something like that. I don't know what that means. Contains no fruit juice. Imperial India Pale Ale. Enjoy fresh. 1 pint, 3.2 ounces, 258 milliliters. 8% ABV. Code on the bottom, canned on 2/10/25. So February 10th. This is a few months old. With the 8% ABV, not that big of a deal. Shelf life is going to be great. In a can, you're not going to worry about light spoilage. So it says 6-pack, 12 ounce. I'm guessing it's cans. It didn't say anything about bottles. A lot of craft beer companies, I think for cost cutting, they're doing more cans than they are bottles. I think draft would be pretty awesome if you could find it. With it being in a can, I'm sure it's pasteurized of some sort. So, great beer. Really good. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I picked it up. Like I said, minimal investment at Walmart. Worth my while for sure. At least for the review. I doubt I'll see this in the 6-packs. This will be the main offering that I'll see. I more than likely won't see it on tap unless I go to a specialty store like a tap room of some sort. Maybe they can get it through the distributor. I don't know if it's going to be Miller or Budweiser. If I had to guess, it might be the Miller distributor, but it's really hard to say, So anyway, if you guys have had this Founders Mortal Bloom Imperial Thorn, let me know in the comments. If you're a Founders fan, if you're from the upper Midwest, let me know. I know they have a lot of beers that have very, very highly regarded, like the KBS, the Breakfast Stout, and Arrogant something. It's not like the Stone. Stone has the Arrogant Bastard. Or maybe they both have some sort of an Arrogant Bastard. They have Arrogant something for Founders and for Stone Brewing. So let me know in the comments your knowledge on this brand, this beer, this company in general. And if I said anything wrong, feel free to correct me. I am not above reproach. So I appreciate the feedback and the conversations, and I will see you guys later.